All right. And we're dancing. And welcome to another episode of the Nick and Adam Show. I am Nick.
Learning acoustic guitar for 2000, man, was a nightmare. And I'm Adam.
Not Ace Frehley, but this is our end of year extravaganza where we're going to talk about our favorite movies from the year, favorite comics, favorite toys, and pretty much just anything else that we like during the year. So, Adam, what do we want to start with first?
Well, first of all, I want to say that despite the pandemic and other people have lost and stuff like that, like setting, it's a pretty damn big thing to set aside. But what are we here for? Escapism, right? From that kind of reality. It was a good year for sci-fi. It was a good year for comic book movies. In my opinion, the Suicide Squad was just unbelievably good. I think that was sabotaged though by the HBO Max thing. Not that I didn't benefit from it and didn't take advantage of it myself. Then of course we'll be posting our spoiler review / after show type thing of Spider-Man No Way Home.
With a special guest.
Yes, with a special guest. His name is Patrick, and he's got a lot of good things to share with us. So it'll be kind of cool. He's our first guest on this podcast, and hopefully we see more of him in the future.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, well, let's get into some of the things we want to talk about. So let's start off with the toy news. I know you're saying McFarlane just dropped a whole bunch of new toys coming out. So what they got coming out?
Well, they did this Winter Never Ends or something like that. You have to look that up. I apologize. But go ahead. I'm not going to screw it up. But anyways, they dropped an Aquaman figure for that. And it's a comic book version of Aquaman. So that's world building for, what McFarlane's trying to accomplish. They also dropped the Martian Manhunter. Now they've got a Black Adam. And they've got a new Wonder Woman. And then there's a Batman. Gee whiz. Who knew?
Shocker.
He looks cool, though. He's in a big winter coat and all that kind of stuff. And he looks awesome. And then they also dropped a Superman in the official solar suit from the comics, or when he was, like the Return of Superman from the Dead. And then Jon Stewart, which they've already had. But to me, all I can see is like different power accessories that come with him, and the Build-A-Figure, which I'm not familiar with that character for the Build-A-Figure.
Oh, and also, did you say General Zod?
No, I didn't. So. And General Zod, and I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad that you said it, because to me, that one is the cream of the crop. I didn't think it would be, but it is.
Yeah, that one I already got pre-ordered. So
you and me both from GameStop.
Yeah, I did. I did General Zod and I did Martian Manhunter. I don't know how popular the Aquaman is going to be, so I was going to wait and see what the demand was for him, and then do my shopping from there.
I need to build my Justice League, so I let him in the door.
Well, that's what we were talking earlier. That's when I really want to kind of kit bash with the Jason Momoa Snyderverse Aquaman and see how that looks, because that's the coolest look from those movies from Jason Momoa when he was in his orange and green outfit.
Oh God, yes, from the Aquaman movie.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone went. Eee! So, no problem. It's that.
You couldn't hear that, could you?
Nope. It's that time of year. Everybody's got a little.
It went down the wrong pipe. Oh yeah, and also I'm getting over being sick.
Yeah, and I am right in the middle of it, so if I sound a little bit off more than normal, that's why. So.
Yeah, it's not the plague or anything. I don't have the plague. I already been there, done that, and now I've been vaccinated and all that stuff. Yeah. That's it. No plague. But yeah, those are the McFarlane toys. Um, and again, outstanding job. You know,
Yep. And then they dropped another Batman trailer, but this one is mainly focused on Catwoman.
Bat
So,
and a cat. Like
Bat and the
you can
Cat.
tell they got a relationship in it.
Yep. And yeah, Zoe Kravitz is obviously playing Catwoman, and she's gorgeous.
She is, but she looks like she's killing it.
Yeah, well, this isn't her first foray into the comic book universe. She was in X Men. Was it First Class? Yeah,
Really?
I believe so.
Who she plays? Was that Storm?
No, she wasn't Storm. She had the hold on now, because she had like the dragonfly wings, and she ended up turning
Oh, I still want to watch that again.
on turning on them. So,
Yeah, yeah. She didn't want to die or something.
well, yeah, because what was Kevin Bacon's character in that? So
Sebastian Shaw.
that's right.
Should be called Sebastian Shaw. He was a poof. Wow.
And yeah, so
Nice.
she played Angel Salvador,
Fair enough.
and yeah, she was.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know, but I was like, hey, she looks sort of familiar, and be like, oh, you're you're Lenny Kravitz's kid, and God, what,
Sabone.
yeah.
Sabone. I'll tell you what though. Yeah, she sure looks like she's crushing it. That's Catwoman in that role, man.
No, she looks great, and some people were saying, oh, I don't like the look. I was like, I love that look, just like the whole cat suit with the goggles. I love that look. So
Does she have goggles?
I thought I saw it.
Okay.
Maybe, but she because she had a couple different looks throughout the trailer. So
I'll admit one nitpicky thing about her. It has nothing to do with her. And I won't even let this. I will not let this bother me. It will not ruin the enjoyment of the movie. It's not like putting nipples on the bat. It's not at all. I just don't like the way they I think they could have given her a better mask. Seems like Matt Reeves was going for somebody who doesn't have a lot of cash and has to steal everything to, invest in herself, unlike Bruce Wayne, where he's got, toys. But it was like, yeah, I hope that in the next movie that she's in, there's another mask, different mask for it, or a Catwoman style mask.
Right.
Even if it's the goggles, the face covered up like that, and the goggles with that, like that. It's just bizarre looking.
right, yeah. But other than that, in the trailer, a ton of action looks like. So I'm excited, but as we were talking earlier, man, March can't get here soon enough. So just get on with it.
Yeah, and well, I think we talked about it on this podcast a few weeks back that HBO will be stopping same day releases, theatrical and HBO Max. So we won't get any more of that. But as we were talking about earlier, after 45 days of being in the theater, the distributors do have the rights to put the Batman onto HBO Max, and that seems to be what their plan is.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's going to affect a little bit of the box office, but it shouldn't affect too much of the outcome, especially with what Spider-Man's just proved. Where, hey, if you put out a quality product, the people will show up to a theater.
That movie looks quality.
Yeah,
It really
so
does.
yeah, I'm excited. But and especially after Spider-Man, I was like, oh man, like what do we got to look forward to? And I was like, hold on a second. I was like, I almost forgot. I was like, wait a second, there is stuff coming out. So
Okay, though, I just want to address what you just said, though, when you brought up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I do. Everyone knows Batman's my favorite comic book character. My favorite character in literature, period. I've read novels with Batman in it. Sorry. I think that this movie, I have a prediction, I got a feeling, and from all accounts, it looks like it's going to be a great Batman movie. One of the best. It's going to be hard to beat The Dark Knight, but it's going to be an awesome movie. I'm probably going to walk out of that theater on cloud nine, experiencing euphoria. But I will say this: no matter what, that movie won't be better than Spider-Man: Far From Home, and few movies coming will.
No, and I was thinking about that. It sucks that this will be the big comic book movie right after Spider-Man, so it's gonna get comparisons, obviously, which aren't really fair, considering No Way Home is a culmination of a trilogy, and it's really wrapping up kind of that storyline and the way that they wrapped it up. You know, it would be unfair to compare the two, but they're gonna get compared anyway because that's what fans do, and that's fine. But I just think if anybody's going to start making comparisons, the context needs to be there.
Well, yeah, I would say that this is the context. I would say that Spider-Man: No Way Home, again, ambitious movie, highly ambitious. Look at it compared to Eternals, highly ambitious movie. But Spider-Man not only stuck the landing, they exceeded the landing,
Crushed it.
crushed it. Eternals, not so much. Now, Spider-Man's ambition in that movie, the movie's ambition, that film's ambition, was to bring in a multiverse and bring two other movie franchises into this franchise that didn't make sense together and make sense of it. And they crushed it. This is what the Batman has to do. This is what the Batman's ambition is. They have to show the world's greatest detective, because that's what they said they were going to do. Superman's the Man of Steel. Batman's the world's greatest detective. And there are very few Batman movies out there that display that. Even through the Nolan trilogy, which I love, he needs help with stuff. And he doesn't need help. He's like Tony Stark, just mean. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's even the line in the trailer where you can tell, I believe it's the Riddler saying, "Oh, you're not nearly as smart as I thought you were."
Exactly. So he's got to get better. And then the other thing that they're trying that their ambition is going for is making a great Batman movie.
Well, and that's the tricky part, right? Because once again, it's really comparing apples to oranges. Where
Right.
this is supposed to be a standalone movie. This is not supposed to be the start of a trilogy.
Yes, it is.
Is it supposed to be the start of a trilogy?
Oh yeah, this is a trilogy. Matt Reeves is on record saying it.
Okay, because I hadn't heard that, because there was there were some issues because there were reshoots that needed to be done, and that's one of the reasons the movie was delayed, is because you heard rumors as Robert Pattinson didn't want to quite get into shape for the role. Issues with Zoe Kravitz, because I think Zoe Kravitz got pregnant during just after shooting, so had to wait till she was able to shoot again. So, but yeah, I hadn't heard that, but so if they got Robert Pattinson signed on for 2 more movies, then it gets compared to the Nolan trilogy, which is that's tough. That's a tough thing to pull off, because the Sony is just firing out Spider-Man content left and right, where Warner Brothers seems to take it seems like they're some drunk hunter blindfolded out in the woods. Like, sometimes they hit something, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Right.
So no, we got other Batman news though too.
You don't sound happy about it.
I'm confused. And as I went on record saying that this movie is Batgirl, I'm gonna give it a chance. I like Batgirl, but it's gonna be a dumpster fire. And the reason I say that is, what's that girl's? What not girl? What's the
hold on.
woman's name who's writing the script?
Oh, I forget, but
she wrote Birds of Prey.
Right.
That was great because she wrote Birds of Prey without any Birds of Prey in the movie.
I mean, because why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
Your buddy Christina Hodson.
Go write something else. Yeah. Or if you're good, you know what? To write the scripts that she wrote, she's got to be a good writer. Just read some comics.
I say, yeah. Let's pull up her writing credentials here. So, Known for Birds of Prey, Bumblebee, Shut In, Unforgettable. She's got 5 writing credits. And oh no, and she wrote the screenplay for The Flash. Why?
Michael Keaton's in both. That's the news. Michael Keaton's is going to be in Batgirl. And the theory is that Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, will be just like Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, and Michael Keaton will be her teacher because Michael Keaton looks good at 70 years old.
Is he 70?
He's 70.
Holy crap. Good for him. But yeah, and that's the other thing. Now with does the Spider-Man No Way Home, does that have an effect on certain franchises? Do they start bringing in the older stars from other movies just to try and brighten things up? It could have a good effect, or it could be a dumpster fire.
Right. I'm pretty I don't know how true this is. I just heard it today. Well, it must be true because it was on the Campiest show. He doesn't really, report anything that's not out there. But it's not to the extent of like release the Snyder cut. But I guess there's a petition for, Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah.
Which I'd see.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't you dare! You haven't seen Amazing Spider-Man.
No,
1.
I'm not.
Just play it.
No, I like Andrew Garfield. It's just he has weird things he keeps trying to get put into stories that I don't understand. It's like, dude, just stop. Please stop. So
well, he was a good Spider-Man.
No, he's a good Spider-Man, and let's be honest, he stole the show in No Way Home. He crushed it. Everybody had nothing but positive reviews to say. He had besides Willem Dafoe, he stole the show.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Gee whiz, man. Talk about scary. So yeah, no, I agree.
All right, so what else we got going on here, Adam? Do we want to get into year-end review stuff?
Yeah, why don't you start us out on that?
All right, so let's talk about movies. Since we just got done talking about movies, we're going to talk about our favorite movies of the year, and this will be, normally I don't like to do them in order, but this time we'll do them in order. So my number 3 movie of the year is Suicide Squad.
Okay, all right. So why'd you pick Suicide Squad for number 3?
I thought it was incredibly. It's criminal that it didn't do better in the theater, which gets back to our earlier conversation about streaming services screwing things up. Honestly, they just need to get out of the way and let the movie stand on their own 2 feet. Either it's good or it's bad. So,
yeah, no, I agree. My number 3 is Promising Young Woman, and this was an indie film. It was actually released theatrically in Canada and U.S. On December 25th, 2020, but I saw it in 2021, January, as a matter of fact. And this is talk about a psychodrama. You believe that this woman is acting drunk and acting roofied and then bringing men to certain places, and you think she's killing them. And I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but what happens in the end, like, let's just say, like, she goes all the way to prove a point, and that was crazy. So that was my number 3.
All right, so my number 2. Let's see here. My number 2, I'll go with a little bit out of left field, but it's American Underdog.
Okay.
And it is basically the Kurt Warner story.
That would be who's playing him? Shazam's playing him, right?
Yep. Zachary Levi plays him.
Zachary Levi.
Yep, it's got Dennis Quaid in it as well as Dick Vermeil, his head coach, Anna Paquin,
Really?
Yeah.
Talk about a good cast.
No, it's a solid cast. I mean, it talks about faith and that, but other than that, it's a great story as well. So if you know
Right.
anything about Kurt Warner, literally went from working in a grocery store to winning Super Bowls. So it's a good
Yeah, I
story.
mean, I can do that, but I don't want to.
Exactly. I mean, who? I mean, why would you bother?
Right.
Who doesn't
You
love
know,
working at Kroger,
no one.
Aldi's?
All these. I worked at Kroger for a little bit.
I did
I
not.
worked, yep, before I got the job that I'm at now. I was in between jobs, and it was, I didn't like it.
No, sir. Didn't like it.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
All right, Adam, you're number 2.
My number 2 is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. And, well, wow. That was just great. I had a good time watching it. It gave me action, it gave me thrills, and it was funny. It was appropriately funny, not Thor Ragnarok unappropriately funny.
Right. Yeah, it was. Yes, the characters are goofy. You have Peacemaker running around with a big silver thing on his head. You got Bloodsport literally having a competition of killing people. And then you have King Shark.
Nom nom.
Han.
Yeah.
Han. See, Han.
Yes, Nanawe. That's your hand.
Yes, no way. So, no, that it was. I mean, if it hadn't been for that movie that just came out, that'd been pretty much my favorite movie experience.
Well, I guess we both know what number 1 is.
Yeah.
And I was going to say the same thing, but I didn't want to spoil it. But I will say this about Suicide Squad. If I don't want to be recognized, I put on a fake mustache.
So,
See?
can I go back and make a correction for my number 2?
Yeah.
I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
My number 2, my new number 2, Dune. How did for some odd reason I forgot about Dune? Holy
I
shit!
got to make my correction for my new number 3.
So I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, "Ah, dude, there's a movie I'm free. I was like, oh crap, Dune.
Yeah. We only forgot that because we just saw Spider-Man. That's the thing.
Right.
Like,
That's the thing. I was like, yeah, crap. So, yeah,
Yeah.
my new number 2 is Dune. Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Josh Brolin's in it, Oscar Isaac's in it. Just a star-studded cast, and incredible story, incredible effects, incredible cinematography. It would have been number 1, but if it hadn't been for, well,
Spider-Man, No
Uh,
Way Home.
yeah, let's just say it what it is, because it's both ours, because it should be, and it should be everybody's favorite movie this year, Spider-Man:
Right.
No Way Home.
Before we get into that, though, because you changed it to your new number 2,
Yeah.
and it's my new number 3, and we did talk about, and we will talk about, ambitious movies, right?
Yeah.
We compare No Way Home to Eternals, and Eternals didn't stick the landing, and No Way Home did. Dune had like an uphill battle, not recognized by a lot of new fans or anything like that. It's definitely a smart type of sci-fi, and talk about sticking the landing. It crushed it. I mean, to me, it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that was like I said, there's already an established fan base, because there's not only the movie from the 80s, but then there was the miniseries that came out. There's the books. There's the miniseries that came out. So there's a lot of big fans. You know, there's already a well-established fan base for the movie, and it still won over a lot of people, including myself, who I was not a big fan of Dune before. But just seeing that, I was like, oh, that's what this is supposed to be like. Oh, I like that. You know, so
Yeah, and that was out pre 1970s, right?
the books.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's find out. Yeah, so Dune came out in 1965.
So it's feasible that if you are a successful um, young director, or a young director that ended up with a very successful sci-fi franchise, and years later, you wanted to make a prequel to said franchise, and you thought about trade federations and aliens and people who could fight well, you might just have a prequel trilogy
And
called
mind tricks.
and Mind Tricks. Yeah.
That this weird called thing, the voice, and I can ask people to do things, because I want them to do it.
I like doing that shit to people who aren't expecting it. They just look at me.
So what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, like people like there's a couple of older women at work, and I say, hey, or I ask me about something. I go, I am not the fat man you're looking for. They're like, what? I didn't call you that.
But trust me, you didn't have to. It's fine.
Yeah, no, but Dune, man, awesome.
Dune was great, but also getting back to our number one, No Way Home. So just crossed the $1 billion threshold in less than 2 weeks. So
Yeah, like 11 days.
yeah, it was ridiculous,
Yeah,
and it hasn't even opened in China yet, which it will. So
I'll go crazy for it.
yeah, they love Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
with a budget of estimated $200 million, good Lord, they are going to make some bank on that thing.
$200 million, and they made $1 billion on it.
Billion, yeah, in less than 2 weeks. So yeah, that's a pretty penny. That's a good investment right there.
Yeah, they're not done making money on it. That's the crazy part.
No, it honestly, and a lot of people have been talking about like, oh, it's an MCU thing. I'm like, no, this is not MCU. This is Sony. This is Sony's handling, and Sony, when it comes to Spider-Man and all the Spider-Man properties, holds all the cards now. They are in the driver's seat of not quite the MCU, but the best part of the MCU.
Well, I agree. I just would disagree with this. Is like I think Kevin Feige made this happen. Over at Marvel, he held a secret meeting in Santa Monica in a hotel room, pitched the idea to the Disney folks, and then they got their meeting with Amy Pascal, and he says, "Listen, you don't have a plan. What you're doing is garbage. Let's have the character, this and that." And she threw a sandwich at his head. And then 2 weeks later, she said, "All right, we'll do it." So
Yeah, but I don't think, I don't know if No Way Home is his idea, but
I'm not saying just his idea, but like he's the producer on it.
well, he's a producer also. I mean, to give credit to Tom Holland, because they were having that big spat in between.
Oh yeah, over
event-
merchandising.
Well, merchandising and just control of the character. And so, Tom Holland's like, no, you need to get this sorted out because I want to be, in the Avengers movies, but also, yeah, I'll do your trilogy too. That's fine. Because there was big, he felt like a kid in a custody battle. Which is kind of where he was. He was basically the kid in the middle of two parents, and he's like, no, you need to get this sorted out. I'll be your Spider-Man. That's fine. But yeah, let's I want to be in these movies, and then I'll do these movies, and that's pretty much how it went. So
it just Sony, you've just opened up endless possibilities of what you can do with this character now. Please don't shit the bed.
Right.
Please don't.
Yep.
Don't say, hey, let's have, well, it worked in Spider-Man No Way Home. Let's have 10 villains in this one.
Well, speaking of shit in the bed, one movie we didn't talk about because I didn't get a chance to see it was Ghostbusters Afterlife. So now, obviously, everybody loved it, was very happy with the result. Don't start cranking out a bunch of freaking Ghostbusters movies now.
Man.
Don't be like Disney and just start, cranking out crap.
Jason Reitman said something that scared the hell out of me. It seems to me, to quote George Carlin, that Jason Reitman had a great idea. He made this movie. I think he said all he has to say. And then he said, I picture a world where all directors can come in and make great Ghostbusters movies. No, they can't.
No, it's unfortunate because it's going to be a product of its own success. Where it's like, yay, we did this. As long as we don't do anything stupid like 2016 Ghostbusters, we'll just carry on this storyline and we'll just keep this going. And be like, no, I don't know why people don't understand how you caught something in a bottle.
Lightning.
Leave it alone. Don't try and get more lightning. So
Never strikes at the same place twice.
right.
I'll say I got an idea for Ghostbusters. I mean, not necessarily a perfect idea, but I would say if you're going to do something later on, one, I think Jason Reitman would need to come back. I think that goes without saying. Two, I think it would be completely appropriate to just use McKenna Grace and the little kid who played Podcast. You haven't seen the movie yet. Podcast was so cool. It was his name. He was named Podcast because he had a podcast, and he had one listener, and that was McKenna Grace's character, and they were friends. Anyway, I'd like to see them older and busting ghosts would be cool. Would be really cool. In fact, you could just have like a 2-person Ghostbusters movie in that case.
Well, that's the thing. Anything can be done well, but I just don't want, because that was always my biggest thing is when Disney bought Star Wars, and I'm like, okay, let's see how fast they're going to ruin this because they're just going to start churning them out, and I'm like, well, why when they get something that is good and they just have to beat it to death? I don't understand.
Yeah, like I would say that like the conversation was, we got this great idea because I like The Force Awakens. We got The Force Awakens. Okay, so where does this all end up? Where's the culmination? I don't know.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. Oh, here, I did this first one. All right, who's up next? Oh, Ryan. Go ahead, Ryan. What are you gonna do? Oh,
Profit.
yeah, exactly. Underwear gnomes, profit.
Yep.
You pricks. All right, I'm not.
It's getting tense over
Yeah,
there.
I'm not. We're not going down that road today. So, all right. So next on the list, top comics.
Yeah, this is going to be your wheelhouse right now because the most I've read this year is like the Vampire Chronicles, and still haven't had the will to go back and read that White Knight stuff.
Ah. So I'll go with. And they don't have to come out in 2021 to talk about them.
Right. Okay. Well, then I got a whole list.
Still loving it. The Suicide Squad. It was great. It was fun. I loved reading it. 3 Jokers. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Read it. Check it out. Tell your friends. And then thought I was organized. Gunslinger Spawn.
Ooh,
I love this book. It's so much fun. It's so cool.
I got to read those.
They're fun.
So if it doesn't have to be released in 2021, I could tell you one of the last great ones I read. And it won't be Sandman this time, but Doomsday Clock. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. Is
So
that
it's
I say who is that? Is that
the Watchmen
Watchmen?
Watchmen into the DC universe, which they were always part of the Elseworld universe. But in every reality, Dr. Manhattan sees his people, like on that planet, just every time he saves them from nuclear holocaust and all this kind of stuff, they end up blowing themselves up anyway. But he finds this other universe out there, and I guess it's part of the multiverse, that every time the world gets put on the brink of that nasty happening, the nuclear holocaust or destroying itself, it always gets saved by a Superman. There's always a Superman. That's the common thread. And so, you know how Alan Scott is the original Green Lantern, and he wasn't like the Green Lantern Corps, right? So as they reveal it, uh, he created the New 52 reality. And so, as Dr. Manhattan is explaining it in Dr. Manhattan's, vernacular, he says, whatever the date was, 1940 something, Alan Scott is riding in a train. The train begins to derail, and Alan Scott reaches out and grabs a lantern. The lantern charges him up, and he survives, and he saves. And within the next couple of years, the JSA is formed. And then he says it again. In whatever time, 1940 whatever, he says, Alan Scott is riding on a train. The train begins to derail. He sees a lantern and reaches out for it. I move it 6 inches away from him, and he dies. The JSA are never formed.
Oh.
And that had a ripple effect to the reality. So when Clark Kent was being raised by his parents, he was raised the exact same way, with the exception of, we don't know what the world's going to be like against you. That might take you away from us and all this stuff. So on prom night, instead of using his powers to save his parents, they were killed in an accident. And so he had to grow up for the rest of his life after that without his parents. And that was the New 52 Superman. But then towards the end of the comic, spoilers here, Dr. Manhattan goes back into time and he fixes it. And then you see Clark driving with his parents to the prom. And they're like, back in the 40s, there was a group of people with powers and abilities, and they stood up for what they thought was right. And if it was good enough for them, Clark, it's good enough for you. And then Clark saved his parents in the accident. What's cool about it is he has a premonition. He says, I can't see beyond this premonition. He says, tomorrow night, he says, I will face off against Superman. He'll charge at me. After that, I can see nothing, which means either I die fighting Superman or I destroy everything fighting Superman. And he talks about it being face to face with the world, with the universe's greatest antibody. And it gets deep, dude. It's really deep. I can barely do it justice just explaining that. But it's really good.
I say, as most Watchmen comics are, they're next level.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a complaint about it, I would say it should have been 2 issues longer, just to give it that extra little sauce.
Right.
So yeah, Watchmen Doomsday Clock is absolutely amazing, and it's have you ever seen the picture of the 26 when DC went into Rebirth, the 2016, where all those DC heroes are reaching out to this lightning bolt that's coming through?
I don't know.
Well, if you look it up, just the Rebirth picture of the lightning bolt, that lightning bolt on the other side of that is Dr. Manhattan.
Oh.
Gary Busey takes over while we find the picture.
Everyone that I see carries a rainbow around their shoulder.
All right, Adam. Toys.
Oh, I love this subject.
Top 3 toys of the year, in order.
Right now, yeah. Well, it's all going to be McFarlane. I got to really think about that. That's not true. Mattel and okay, I'm going to go with number 3 is going to be Evelyn from Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Nice.
I like that.
This is my number 3.
Is that, I was gonna say, is that your number 3, 4, 3, 2, 1?
This is my 3. Three out of 4 that took to build them. The Suicide Squad had to build them, but this is my number 3. King Shark.
Excellent pick.
I love it. A little customization, obviously, with the blood and stuff, and then But it's just a cool figure. I love this thing. It's just
Yeah.
fun.
I haven't had the guts to put that on mine.
Fun.
Good choice. Now I got to reevaluate my choices. Number two.
Number two.
No. Number two. Let's think. What do we got? Okay. So number two would be the Target exclusive DC Multiverse by McFarlane. Superman from Justice League, Henry Cavill in the blue and the old-fashioned blue and red. Kind of looks like a Man of Steel, Henry Cavill. I love that figure. I've wanted a Man of Steel figure since the damn movie came out, and they've all been shit.
Not this one, but in the blue and red.
It's that figure, but in traditional colors.
Gotcha.
So same mold, same face.
All right. My number two.
Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful figure.
This is my Vulture figure from Homecoming. And this was, I guess, was the Build-A-Figure from him, but they re-released them recently with just by himself. This figure's so good.
That's sweet. I ordered it yesterday because you had it. I was like, I gotta get that.
The only thing I wish they would have done, I wish they would have talked. We were talking earlier about head replacements. If they'd have given us a Michael Keaton sculpted head, this thing would be perfect.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh man, that's such a good idea. They're the only kind I have. Is that Nick?
So,
all right, number one is on me right now. Okay. I have to make sure that I choose wisely. I got to pick the Carpenter's Cup here.
you have chosen wisely.
Exactly. I really want to say Battle Cat, but I'm hesitating. I mean, it's ridiculously huge, and it's well articulated. It's sweet.
Is it the one that's over your left shoulder?
No,
Oh.
no, that's the 2000X Battle Cat.
No.
I'm talking about the Revelations Battle Cat. It's like bigger than my arm.
They are monsters.
Yeah, they're
That-
huge. Well,
that's
a 7-inch scale.
I was saying that's one of the only downsides to getting, the bigger scales. They're cool, more details, but golly, they're freaking huge. You gotta have the room to display them.
Yeah, I bought a picnic table, put it in my living room for my Masters of the Universe stuff.
Yeah, I told the wife, I was like, I'm going to IKEA to buy a display cabinet. She's like, why? I'm like, toys. She's like, oh God.
Yes.
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 That's where we're at now.
It's a fun addiction. It's a fun hobby.
Because I'm an
All
adult and I want to do things well.
Right. Exactamundo. Okay, so my favorite action figure that I bought in 2001, or released in 2021, I should say. Released in 2021, or one that I bought?
Either.
Either.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, we don't restrict people here. We want to enjoy things.
Good deal. Then I am going to roll with the criminal from the Three Jokers. Criminal. Oh no, you got the criminal. No. The
This guy.
I got the comedian. Yeah.
I don't have the comedian. I was excited
Well,
for a second.
You want to hear some crap? I should have the one in your hand because I pre-ordered it. I sent a nasty gram.
Yeah.
Not with no curse words, no curse words at all. I sent a nasty gram to McFarlane Toy Store, and basically in it I said, I'm unhappy, and I did pre-order the Aquaman Zod and Good Boy, Oh Boy, and Attaboy from GameStop. I didn't bother with you guys. I go, and this is why. I've got friends, and I go to stores, and I see the stuff that I have on pre-order in their hands and on their pegs. That's not a pre-order.
Right. Yeah,
I said,
there is zero benefit to pre-ordering through you guys.
yeah,
So
if I don't get my figure, then I'm screwed. The only benefit from it is that I guaranteed a figure.
right.
I don't have to go hunting for it because I don't have time. But that just
But then
hurt.
again, at the end of the day, that's my like part of the fun is finding the figure in the wild, right?
Yeah, it used to be. I'm so far gone, dude. I need my instant gratification. I was like, I can't drive around all day.
Well,
But
yeah.
it is fun to do that. It is fun to do that.
But then you got like, but then we have this situation where like, so when am I getting my figure?
Yeah.
Because
Basically, if I don't get an email on December 30th or December 31st that it's being shipped to me and they've got it, I gotta wait till January 30th and January 31st.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
yeah,
So
not
mad.
McFarlane, love you, but your customer service is not fantastic.
Yeah, whatever warehouse that is. Yeah, I mean that's my experience with pre-orders. Now, if they have something in stock, I got it the next couple of days, no
Right.
problem.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I did a couple, because especially with McFarlane, they did the 12 days of Christmas through their website, and yeah, I picked up a Dark Side and a Steppenwolf, and yeah, within 24 hours it was on its way.
yeah,
So
exactly. So I won't take that away from them, but I will say that this pre-order situation from them. Okay, so the Joker that I just said, the number one pick that I just had, the comedian, that's the one with the hat and the shadowed eyes. Like the hat's giving shadow to the eyes. Obviously, he's the one from The Killing Joke. Through the entire wait for that, I figured that was the one I'm getting last. I figured everything else would come first, and I'd get that one last because it was a GameStop exclusive. Guess what? Showed up the day GameStop said it would show up.
yeah, and because I went to my local GameStop and it was barren of any McFarlane figures. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that has to be my number one pick because that thing is just
no, that's awesome.
yeah, it's just awesome.
So now my number one, and I showed you the comic, but golly, this figure's so good.
Gunslinger Spawn.
It's so good on so many levels. You get a rifle with a holster. You get 6 shooters. Come in. Like,
Nice.
everything's so good, and the articulation's good. Where if you actually, put the guns in the holsters, like you can put his hand on the holster, and he'll even reach back for his rifle without breaking the shoulder. But just this figure is just freaking. It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
The nice red leather trench coat. Calm down, King Shark. Calm down. Easy there, fella.
Nom.
Nom nom nom. All right. Since I'm making this up on the fly, you can get one reserve or alternate that if you want to talk about.
Well, since we are not worried about it coming out in 2021, please stand by. And I didn't have to go far. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of ages above 18, not all ages. Those toys are not for kids.
Yeah, screw you kids.
That's right. I paid a pretty penny for this because I got in the game late and I wasn't sure how well it would really turn out. I couldn't tell by the photos. It looked very swollen in the photos. But when I got it, it's a 7-inch scale and it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And that would be the NECA 1989 Batman.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Fully articulated. pull the cape back.
How's the face sculpt on that?
It is spot on, dude. Can you see?
Yeah, but it's a lot out of focus.
Yeah, it's out of focus. Spot on. Here, I'll take a picture and send it to you.
But it looks like Michael Keaton. It doesn't look like a dude.
Oh, it looks like Michael Keaton. Okay, let's see here. All right. It's coming through now, Con.
Okay. Okay. And in the meantime, I'll do my alternate.
Yeah. That's right. Would you let me ride? Regulators! It was a clear black night. A clear white moon wore she was on the street trying to consume. That's right.
Just pretty much the entire McFarlane 66 Batman line.
Yeah, anything from that. Anything Batman. I kept wanting to say the Batcave, but I wasn't sure. I'm like, it's not a figure. But the Batcave is so good.
Well, I was like, can I just pick? Oh, the Batman? No. The Robin? No. The Batmobile? No. The Batcave? No. I'm just throwing the whole line in there. It's awesome.
Yep.
It does. It looks like Michael Keaton. So
shit, they've got an Adam West one out there, dude.
Nice. So,
yeah.
All right, Adam. So we did movies, we did comics, we did toys. Let's talk about trends and all those that we'd like to go. Either we'd like to see continue, or we'd like to see go in the garbage. Okay,
I want to go first.
Go ahead.
You sent me an article last night about a certain actress about wanting to make her character homosexual. And I replied to you, as I roll my eyes. And the reason I say that is like, listen, he put a gay person in a movie. That's no problem. It's just, it's gotten, why does, not everybody's gay. You know what I mean? And that's what, why? How does that serve the narrative? You know what I mean? So that's a trend I would like to see go away. I would really like to see woke culture realize how woke it's not. So there you
go. That leads into pretty much mine, where it's a combination of things where you're really realizing what corporations, they don't understand what they own. Like with Disney, and just their latest venture is the Galactic Starship, which basically is a LARPing experience for 2 days and is $6,000. And they released the trailer, and the trailer got literally laughed off the internet because the technology, it looked like it was a combination of literally like Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, all this, and not like the good new stuff, like the 80s cheesy sci-fi stuff. And you just realize, oh, you don't understand Star Wars. You don't know what Star Wars is. You can't just have like flashy things and be like, oh, this is Star. Like, no, you don't. You truly do not understand your fan base. You don't understand what the fans want. And I'm really happy that we had what we had at the end of the year, which is nice because you had a movie essentially made for the fans in Spider-Man No Way Home. And guess what? Nerds and fans, they like to buy stuff that they like. It's weird.
Right?
We just went through and showed you this is just like all the toys. We just bought those this year. Those things aren't cheap.
No,
So
they're not. I lost my tax return to it.
right. Yeah, Adam's already spent his tax return that he hasn't even gotten yet.
But you know what? I know that it'll cover it, and that was the plan. So at least I got a plan. At least I'm not just,
But ultimately, my thing is listen to the fans. Don't try and force something onto the fans that you think they like. Listen to what the fans say. Disney, Sony, Marvel, DC. Listen to your fan base. Don't try and tell them what you like.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. I want to see that go away myself. So that's the one thing I want to see go away, and then that's the second thing I want to see go away. So, what would you like to see stick around?
Spider-Man No Way Home. Listening to your fans. Listening to the fans is what I want to see. I want to see people like, oh, you don't want politics? You don't want, modern day issues thrown into movies? No. There's a reason, we talked about earlier. It's escapism. Stop messing with people's escapism. They're trying to get away from the world. Don't put it into where, we talked about it before. Don't put your politics into where people escape. No one wants to see it. People don't want to see it. Hey, you want to go see someone's honest opinion? Go on Twitter. Don't put it in my comic books. Don't put it in my movies. Leave it off my TV shows. Leave it out.
Yeah.
Get out of my sports.
See, I'm just picturing Spider-Man fighting the Vulture, and then wonder how my gay Aunt May's doing.
Right? Yeah. Oh, is her gay relationship going well? No one cares about that.
Yeah, I'm about to get my head blown off by a fucking guy in a Vulture suit.
And the funny thing is, and even if you go into the comment sections about some of these stories, and there's a whole bunch of people that start going, I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm, whatever. I don't care. I want good stories. That's what I want. I don't care that you've made Superman's kid gay. Are you going to write better stories for him? Or is it just going to be, oh, we mark it up on the board. We got a trans or we got a gay character. No one cares about that. Write better stories.
Well said. Well said. I want to see Zack Snyder back in the helm of something in the DC universe.
Yeah, that's that is terrifying right now. Look, there is a black Superman in the DC universe, but he's not Kal-El. And
no, it's Val-Zod. There's two of them.
Yeah,
Val-Zod, and then there's Calvin Ennis.
But I have a feeling they're going to force feed Kal-El as the black Superman, and it's just, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to go well.
Well, last I heard, Michael B. Jordan was going to work on the Val-Zod project.
Right, but he also, who's writing is Ta-Nehisi Coates, and Ta-Nehisi Coates is a dick.
Well, then I hope that Michael B. Jordan sticks to his guns and says, then I'm not doing it.
But also, then you got freaking dingus J.J. Abrams running it too. So
you had to say that, didn't you?
I had to. Sorry. Full context.
Yeah, he has a terrible habit of abandoning things.
Well, he'll start off on fire, and then it just there's nothing left after. It'll look good. It'll be lots of flash and lens flares and all that good stuff, and then, but there's no soul to anything.
So I just thought of a great analogy to race swapping a character. Okay, that DC is doing without rhyme or reason.
Sure.
Okay. The comics did it first with Nick Fury. They made a black version of the Ultimate, and that was fine, and it worked out great. but it's like the lightning in the bottle thing, right? Okay. So in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, we're going to get a character named America Chavez. She is of Latino heritage. She was originally a Latino. Okay. So they made an original character, which is what we're talking about all the time. She's got this power where she can create like star pattern portals and travel to different multiverses or universes within the multiverse. She's cool. I researched her. She's really cool. And now we got with the actress they got to play her. She's going to be great. She might be the only thing good about it because of our friend Christina Hodgkins. But now we got black Batgirl, and for no reason, and for anything a racist reason, because they're like, well, we got black characters too, but we don't want to use them because they're not our hot IP.
Right.
That's a crock of shit. So, what does Marvel do? They are the guy in Mallrats. What Warner Brothers is the guy in Mallrats, staring at this fucking thing, the puzzle, trying to see the schooner. Marvel's the little kid who walks up and says, "It's a sailboat," and he turns around, looks at Marvel. Warner Brothers looks at Marvel and goes, "You dumb bastard! It's not a sailboat. It's a schooner." And Marvel goes, "A sailboat is a schooner, doo-doo head," and runs away. They don't get it. They don't get it.
Well, it gets back to the point earlier where you really realize that these big, massive corporations between Disney, Marvel, DC, throw them all into one, they don't understand their fan base.
Right.
They really don't.
It's not so much that, like, I would think for comic book fans who are black, not so much that they want to see a black Superman. Give them and me, and give me Black Lightning, man. Give me something that has some heritage, some roots to that character. Why did they create Black Lightning? They made a conscious choice to make an African American superhero. That's it. And they gave him good stories. He was in Batman and the Outsiders, man.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. Everybody, and that's the thing. Another thing I'd love to see go away is stop referring to these IPs as platforms. They are not freaking platforms.
You just make me mad.
Well, you had Alex Kurtzman saying, it's not about Star Trek. It's about using Star Trek as a platform. Be like, no, dude, no, that's not what it's for. Stop standing on the shoulders of giants like Gene Roddenberry and using it to portray whatever you want to portray. It's not what Star Trek was ever about.
Exactly.
And that's not what Superman's about. It's not about any of these things. Did not start out. They didn't start out that way. Stop trying to, shoehorn them into something that they're not. So.
Yeah, and someone beat Seth Rogen with a shovel, please.
That was on my Christmas list, but that didn't happen.
Just stare. Cold stare.
So
sorry, man. You got it coming. This is for Brody, dude.
It's for Brody, dude. All right, Adam. Hey, let's talk about what we got coming up in 2022. What?
Better show that Batman again. Or that Batmobile again, buddy.
Oh, wait, it's right here.
And I was just gonna say the crowd says da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Words flying off my fist like power kablam. By now you better know who the fuck I am. I'm Batman. That's right. Pow.
Pow.
And somebody hit me so hard there was words in the air. That'd be crazy. So it's all stars. Okay, so you want to spill it, or you want me to spill it?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So we're gonna start bringing you another show, a different kind of show, where we're not going to talk about various things. This show will continue and it will evolve, and this will be our flagship show. But we are going to give you some commentary tracks that we hope to move to a podcasting platform, which we're in the development of right now. I'm researching it pretty much. So, anyways, the first one that we got coming to you is Batman 66, 2021. And what we're going to do is you're going to queue up your devices, whatever you watch Batman 66 on, and we're going to queue it up here, and we're going to do a commentary track. Now, I know there's probably a lot of podcast fans out there going, well, didn't they do that on Babylon during the pandemic? Yes. It's not exactly an original idea, but they didn't finish it. They're back to live shows. And this is going to be our take on it. So it's not going to be the caped commentaries. It's going to be the, what do we call it? The Bright Knight Chronicles. So we're going to call it the Bright Knight Chronicles as opposed to the Dark Knight. See what we did there? And
we're very clever.
Yeah, very much so. And so we're just going to bring you Batman 66. We're going to do them on Sundays. We'll release them in the we might be able to release that one same day.
Or live stream.
Yeah,
Which is really top of mind for me anyways. We are going to start live streaming this format. This is what we want to start live streaming so that when we do these shows, they're not a week behind. So when we actually have commentary, it'll be top of mind commentary. It won't be a week late. It won't be late. Internet late, which is, if you talk about something, a few days old, it might as well be 2 weeks old or 3 weeks old. So, yeah. That's the top of mind thing is we really want to start streaming live, and then we can actually interact with you guys live, and you'll be able to interact with us on YouTube. So that's mainly my top goal, and then obviously everything will follow after that for the Batman 66 show. But also we are going to be doing some collaborations with other YouTubers. So Adam, why don't you talk about that?
Well, actually, we can't talk about that right now because there's nothing set in stone. But we are working on it, and the other person who we have approached is very, very into it. The problem is with that is we can't get anything in stone yet because it was just Christmas, and what this person does for a living keeps them pretty busy at Christmas. So now that that's over, and as soon as that dust settles, we're going to reapproach that. And for that particular YouTuber, hopefully we're going to have like a powwow type show where it's like a real loose type of interview, and we're going to talk about one of our favorite subjects, and it's going to be great.
Yep.
It's going to be great. Greatest ever.
Oh, no.
The greatest in the world. I brought it to you. Nick helped a little bit, but not much. No, this was...
And that being said, we just want to thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys have shown us throughout our first year, and we are just getting started. So, but just want to thank you guys so much for all the support. You guys have been amazing.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for all the cool things, and even some of the hate your brother gave us. That was great. That was the best. So yeah, I guess we're going down in history as shitting on It's a Wonderful Life.
Who knew people like that movie?
Yeah, I don't know. Gluttons for punishment, I guess.
But thank you so much for 2021, and we are very excited for what we were going to be bringing you in 2022. So we'll be signing off now. I just want to say thank you guys so much, and now we dance.